What's going on, guys? This is another Star Wars Unlimited gameplay commentary video. This time we have a match between His Dudeness on the left side and Faith on the right. So His Dudeness is playing Leia Aggression, fairly standard aggro deck in this current meta. On the other side, though, Faith is playing a more unusual build. It is a Krennic command build. His dudeness, on a more conventional style, but Faith has played Faith has played Krennic for quite some time. He played it and actually I believe made the semifinals of the online tournament that was played earlier, and he's had some good results with Krennic. So he's gonna try to see if his Krennic command build can hold off his Dudeness's Leia aggro. So on the first turn, we see a basic Alliance X-Wing here from Dudeness, and Faith plays a regional governor. When played, name a card. While the students in play, the opponents can't play the named card. And I believe named wing leader, but there is no wing leader to be seen. As Faith, as Dudeness instead played red 3 here. 3 cost 2/3 with raid 1. Each other friendly command unit gains raid 1. And then the X-Wing swings in there for 3 damage to the X-Wing swings in there for 3 damage to Faith's base. So Faith played a Super Laser Technician on this turn. 3 cost 2/1. When defeated, you may put this unit into play as a resource and ready it. This does mean that if Dudeness plays any unit into the if Dudeness plays any unit into the ground arena, that Super Laser Tech can attack into it, get that resource into play, and then use that to get Krennic into play earlier. Ooh. Faith with a bold play using the Energy Conversion Lab. Play a unit that costs 6 or less from your hand. Give it ambush for this phase. The System Patrol Craft used there comes in as a 3/4 and takes out red 3. However, Dudeness counters by using Tarkin Town to deal 3 damage to a damaged non-leader unit. Um, Governor swings in for 1, Super Laser Technician for 2. Dudeness plays Bright Hope for or cost 2/6 with Sentinel. When played, you may return a friendly non-leader ground unit to its owner's hand if you do draw a card. And swings in with his X-Wing for another 2 damage. So the Super Laser Technician kind of getting countered here is not going to get a chance to bring Krennic in early because Dudeness has been focused on the space arena instead. However, Krennic can now naturally deploy, as can Leia. Leia using the ability instead, inflicting 4 damage with attacks from both of those ships. But Krennic's Restore 2 is now in effect. Krennic swings in for 2 damage and heals 2 damage from his own base. So Krennic has relatively weak fighting stats at only 2/7, but can really benefit from that Restore 2 in matchups against aggro like this one. Wow, an Overwhelming Barrage played on a Super Laser Technician. Not something that you see every day. So give a friendly unit +2/+2 for this phase, then it deals damage equal to its power divided as you choose among any number of other units. So in this case, it is 4 damage. Let's see, that damage could be used to pick off the X-Wing. I think it's more likely that we're going to see this, at least some of the damage put on Leia in the hopes of removing her. So okay, actually just puts all the damage on Leia. Um, okay, so Leia just swings in for doing 4 damage to the base. The Super Laser Tech is now going to be able to trade with Leia. That's exactly what we see. Super Laser Technician becoming a readied resource, but there's nothing for Faith to spend that resource on. Another X-Wing hitting the field. And a medal ceremony here, giving an experience token to the other X-Wing and to Bright Hope. Then we also see a Spec Force soldier hitting the field, so just more units being deployed. Uh, and we'll see what happens there. I actually think he probably should not have played this, just because it can get killed by Krennic for no value. But maybe it will at least force that instead of a play that interacts with those dangerous space units. Yeah, so killed by Krennic, no value gained there. But we see a Leia's ability used there to swing in and inflict 6 damage with those buffed units. Looks like a takedown incoming here from Dudeness, or from Faith, targeting Dudeness's readied X-Wing, maybe? Looks like he's maybe mulling it over, so he could attack. So he basically, this is gonna defeat a unit with 5 or less remaining HP, so he can't use it on Bright Hope. If he uses it on the X-Wing that hasn't attacked, he gains. If he's on the X-Wing that hasn't attacked, he prevents himself from taking 2 damage, but the one that has attacked is worth more with that Medal Ceremony. K2 hits the field, Emperor's Royal Guard, another medal ceremony. This Bright Hope and Alliance X-Wing are now heavily promoted, each of them able to swing for 4. And this might be a big problem for Faith here. He only has 10 life remaining on he has 10 HP remaining on his base. He does have Krennic to do some healing here. But the situation in the space arena is really not looking so good for him with those promoted units able to do 8 damage per turn, and he doesn't have any immediately available counters. He could deploy the System Patrol Craft, which would at least absorb an attack from one of those space units, he he is not probably liking what's going on in the space arena, even though the ground arena is quite stable. So they weren't sure whether Faith had resourced there. I think he probably didn't. Yeah, so they're gonna say, let's say they didn't. Yeah, so yeah, I think that's right. So right now, Dudeness is on 5 resources and Faith is actually on 8. But they're saying that Dudeness skipped 2 turns of resourcing and Faith had a piece of ramp, so it is balanced. Krennic hits K2 for 2 damage, also healing. So K2 probably just wants to trade with the Emperor's Royal Guard and deal damage to base. Oh yeah, no, he just goes for the big swing there. Honestly, it's looking really grim for Faith. We see System Patrol Craft hitting the field, 3/4 with Sentinel. All Dudeness needs to do here is take the initiative, and I'm pretty sure he wins. Because at this point he has 2 units that swing for 4. Okay, so he brings out a Battlefield Marine. If K2 dies, that's 3 damage to the base. He ends up with the Battlefield Marine and Admiral Akbar. When played, you may deal damage to a unit equal to the number of units you control in its arena, and that 3 damage knocks Krennic off the field. I think it's pretty over. I don't really see a way for Faith to stabilize here. Those medal ceremonies promoting the space units there have really got Dudeness into a strong position. I think he was in trouble at first, but with those ceremonies, his space arena is so buffed. And yeah, it looks like Faith concedes the game. The players are going to sideboard now, though. Faith's deck isn't pre-teched for aggro. He has some very late game cards, like there was an Avenger in hand. He has cards like Resupply, which you probably don't want against aggro at all. I'm curious to see how Faith sideboards here. So he's taking some cards. He has 7 cards here. I think this is the sideboard package that he's bringing in. So Colonel Yularen, 2 copies of Make an Opening. One of the cards from that preview stream, give a unit -2/-2 for this phase and heal 2 damage from your base. So, or 2 Colonel Yularens, 3 Make an Openings, and 2 Consortium Star Vipers. And he's and let's see what he's removing. Looks like he's removing 3 resupplies, Avenger, 2 Devastators, and Dooku. So yeah, it's basically the type of thing that I was discussing. He's removing those resupplies, which are not very good against aggro, and he's removing some of his big endgame units in order to set himself up for a better position against aggro with some of these cards that can provide him with extra healing. And so he has the Consortium Star Viper, another good option to counter enemies in space with that Restore 2. Make an Opening, uh, removal and healing, and Colonel Yularen straight healing. So he's adding some anti-aggro tech to his build. Let's see over here with Dudeness. Dudeness is thinking about some sideboarding, I think, but I'm not entirely sure what he's doing with it. It looks like he's searching through his build. This might be some of his sideboard. Looks like he's got some Starwing Scouts, some Precision Fires. Um, So there's this awkward thing about these decks that are running for a cause I believe in is the more non-heroic cards you put in, the more you nerf your for a cause I believe in. So that Destiny Riku pointed that one out. So then I guess these cards have been brought out. Okay, so it looks like Academy trainings and Admiral Akbar brought out. And yeah, so I think he removed these Academy trainings and a copy of Admiral Akbar, and it looks like he brought in three disabling Fang fighters, maybe to deal with entrenched. And then I'm not sure what the other card that he brought in was. I actually think these precision fires might be pretty good to bring in, given the number of sentinels we see. So precision fire attack with the unit and gains saboteur for this attack. If it's a trooper, it also gets +2 power. I think that given there's those Emperor's Royal Guards, given that there are those given the Emperor's Royal Guards and the what's the space one called? System Patrol Crafts. It's an interesting situation. Okay, so in this situation, the regional governor was played naming the Green Squadron A-Wing. So I think that makes sense here because if we look at the hand, um, Faith doesn't have any direct counters to space units, so he hasn't seen like that Consortium Star Viper, any of his own space units, stuff that can oppose that. So if he plays this and names A-Wing and his opponent has the A-Wing, it could get a lot of value. So regional governor swings in, hitting Sabine here. I think we're likely going to see Fleet Lieutenant Sabine 5 damage to the base. And then we're going to probably see make an opening to remove Sabine. Yep, exactly right. Make an opening, give a unit -2/-2 for this phase and heal 2 damage from your base. So he clears out Sabine while also healing the base there. Still has his regional governor in play as well, which is going to synergize with it's going to synergize with the Emperor's Royal Guard that he now has the opportunity to play. Dudeness did get the initiative though, so we're going to have to see how this goes. Base for 3 damage. Probably going to see that Emperor's Royal Guard, though it could be the Consortium Star Viper. No, it's the Royal Guard, and K2 hits the field for Dudeness. Initiative taken for Faith. K2 is a pretty good counter to that Emperor's Royal Guard, at a 4/4 with Overwhelm, and when defeated, for each opponent, choose one. Either deal 3 damage to that player's base or that player discards a card from their hand. The reason I say he's a good counter to the Emperor's Royal Guard is he can attack into it, defeat it, remain on the board himself. And if he's buffed by a Fleet Lieutenant, he could even do that extra damage to the opposing base with Overwhelm. So that could be a good opportunity for Dudeness to get some value there. On the other hand, he might want to use Leia to do the double attack, in which case he could have K2 clear the Emperor's Royal Guard immediately, and then have the Fleet Lieutenant follow up with an immediate attack to the base before there's an opportunity for other actions to be taken. However, I do think that it is actually Faith who has the chance to go first here. Yeah, Faith does have the initiative here, so we're going to see what comes of that. Not much in the space arena, but big showdown on the ground arena. Looks like an overwhelming barrage on that Emperor's Royal Guard, doing 5 damage. So defeats K2 and deals 1 to the Fleet Lieutenant using that overwhelming barrage. Not the best barrage ever, but could be worse. K2 deals 3 damage to the base. Okay, so what we're probably going to see here is he can just attack the Fleet Lieutenant into the Emperor's Royal Guard, then clear it with Tarkin Town, and then he can deploy Leia, buffer with the Wing Leader, and go into the base. Yeah, yeah. So I think Fleet Lieutenant swing into that Royal Guard is pretty likely. Oh, what a! Oh no, he uses his Fleet Lieutenant. I think that's a bit of an error. So by using this Fleet Lieutenant, he deals 2 bonus damage to the Emperor's Royal Guard. By doing that, the Emperor's Royal Guard is going to be removed at the end of this turn when the overwhelming barrage wears off. But Faith takes the opportunity to just have the Emperor's Royal Guard clear that Fleet Lieutenant as well. I can't help but think it would have been much more advantageous for Dudeness if he had instead used a normal attack, used Tarkin Town, then deployed Leia and used the Fleet Lieutenant to buff Leia. He would still have a Fleet Lieutenant. He would be out Tarkin Town, but he would have a Fleet Lieutenant on the board in addition to Leia, and he would have done 2 more damage to the base. I do think that would have been a lot better. So we're going to see a Wing Leader buffing Leia now, though. So Wing Leader, and he could have done that also. He could have gone Wing Leader to buff Leia instead of Fleet Lieutenant if he had wanted to with that Tarkin Town route previously. So Wing Leader buffing Leia. Krennic hits Leia for 2, healing the base for or restoring the base for 2 as well. Um, we could see an Echo-based defender hit the field. We could see for a cause 6 resources here for 6 resources here. Okay, so Dudeness, I think, plays out the Echo-based defender. I think he's trying to counterplay. I think he's trying to counterplay a takedown here. So by playing the Echo-based defender, he prevents the governor from attacking Leia to get her into that 5 HP range where you can be picked off by a takedown. That isn't actually what Faith was planning though, but Dudeness doesn't know that, not knowing what is in Faith's hand. And I do think that the Echo-based defender is a reasonable play, even if you're not trying to counterplay a takedown. So now we're going to likely see Leia swing into the base for 6 damage here. But okay, the regional governor does 2 damage, two two damage to the Echo base. I'm not sure what the value of that was. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if there's a huge amount of point to doing that. Maybe he can ambush in with Colonel Yularen. Yeah, maybe he ambushes with Colonel Yularen. I don't really know what the big value is there, honestly. He could He could play Colonel Yularen normally, that heals 1, and then play the Star Viper, and that heals another 2, or that heals another 1, but he's gonna lose the initiative. I don't know. This doesn't look good for Faith. I think Dudas is gonna get it, honestly. So he could use ECL to ambush. I don't know though. He's in a bad spot. That buffed Leia is a tough customer. He could take the initiative here, which is sort of crazy. The problem is, no, there we go. ECL Colonel Yularen. ECL Colonel Yularen clearing the guy there. So I think what Faith was actually trying to set up was hitting Leia with the regional governor so that he could then ambush her with Darth Vader next turn and take her out in 1 attack, rather than playing takedown. Those are both like sort of 5 strength hits. I do think we're gonna see Vader. I do think we're gonna see Vader here, but we'll see. All right, so we have double attack there. That's going to be 8 total damage, 6 from Leia, 6 from Leia, and 2 from the wing leader. Krennic swings into Leia, inflicting 2 damage and healing his base for 2. Now we're going to see the opportunity to carry out that ambush, but I think it's too late. We're going to see. Oh, there's no for a cause. I'm very surprised we're not seeing for a cause. I believe in here. I guess he can play. No, I guess this kind of makes sense. He can play Bright Hope and then also bring out the Battlefield Marine. But Vader is going to make his appearance, ambushing and defeating Leia, presumably. When played, search the top 10 cards of your deck for any number of villainy units with combined cost 3 or less and play each of them for free. It's going to be Del Miko. Oh, that's a good pick. So Del has Restore 1, and additionally, each event an opponent plays costs 1 more. Uh, Vader takes 5 damage, but has 2 HP remaining. So this is Legendary Vader, Unit Vader, Darth Vader commanding the First Legion. Very solid card. Kind of Vader leading the snowtroopers to attack Echo Base on Hoth, as you see there in the art. Very thematic to have that sort of Vader as battlefield commander being a command unit, while Vader the what's it called? Vader the not the battlefield commander, but the duelist on Cloud City going after Luke, which is his leader version, is aggression. Okay, so it's looking like this one's basically over. Swing for 4 there with Leia's ability being used to do the double attack. And then it's going to be a concession there. Yeah, because for a cause, even if Dell attacks and heals 1, for a cause here only has to hit 2, and that's very likely. So it is going to be a win here for Dudeness. He was able to get there against the Krennic green there. I think that I think this Krennic deck is reasonable, but it wasn't quite able to get there against Dudeness's Leia aggro. The I do think that the opening I think that the opening version of this deck is maybe too late game, and it should maybe be teched more into the anti-aggro at first, given that we are still kind of in an aggro meta, but hard to say. And I will also say there was a game where I messed up the recording played before these two, where Faith actually won pretty strongly. So if we count that one, we'll say that overall it is 1 and 2, but Dudeness's Leia aggression deck was able to get there against Faith's Krennic command. All right, that's going to do it for this one, guys. Thanks to you all for watching. We'll be back later with some more Star Wars Unlimited content. I will catch you guys later.